What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is the Blacklist Season 4, Episode 15, The Apothecary. So, this is the winter finale of the Blacklist, and ends on a pretty good note overall. Just not entirely shocking, it was a little bit predictable, but it was still enjoyable to watch and see exactly what was going to happen next. So, we see early on, Reddington's been poisoned, and that's kind of the story of the episode. They're trying to track down the guy who poisoned him, and Reddington, meanwhile, is trying to find out exactly what happened that led to him being poisoned. So we see from the FBI side of the story, they're tracking the apothecary down through this one woman who was also poisoned. Turns out her husband was doing it using the apothecary's poison that he made. We see the apothecary himself, kind of a creep. He apparently took this woman and was raping her, and that's interesting. And on top of that, it ends on kind of a sad note in the fact that she actually got pregnant with his baby, and so now, even though he's going to jail, it's like, well, she's still having his baby. That's awful. That's terrible. And well, the nice thing about that though is it could have gone so many directions. It could have gone, oh well, the apothecary, now he has something to live for, so now they can bring him in and question him. So that's nice. But they could have really gone political in all of this, and that's one thing that I think a lot of shows nowadays would have. After she gets pregnant with his baby, a lot of shows would have gone the whole, oh, should she get an abortion or not route. This show didn't go that way. They avoided that topic, and I'm glad for that. I'm glad that a show can have something like this and not have to get all political about it, not have to talk about what's right and wrong and what should she do with that baby. They just sort of left that alone, so that was nice. It's nice to see that a show doesn't have to do that, because too many times I've seen where shows feel like they have to put out their political opinion about something. So, but as far as the apothecary story, that's about all there was. The twist that the husband was the one poisoning her was actually pretty well done. It seems like this one family that she was supposed to testify against was probably responsible. So the fact that it turns out to be her husband because he wanted to be with this other woman he was seeing, it made it very interesting. It definitely added a little bit of a twist in the end instead of just making it straightforward. On to Reddington's side of the story, we see, he's struggling with the poison, he's slowly dying, but he's trying to figure out what happened. He's trying to figure out what happened the night before. Well, he gets to this one place that he's trying to track down Dembe to find out what happened with him. And he gets to this one place. This woman was thrown in a car and mouth taped shut by him. I don't know what her point is to the story, but I feel like she's coming back later because it just seemed a little bit too... I don't know. She just seemed a little too okay working with him after he gets her out of the car. Because she said he was the one that threw her in there. So I'm getting the feeling that she probably is involved somehow with all of this. And we'll probably find out whenever the show returns, but I don't think she's entirely innocent. Just watching her be completely calm as Reddington is sitting there dying, she helps him find medicine, and she takes him back to, I think, her place or somebody's place whenever he collapses. So, yeah, I don't trust her, but we see, they're trying to find out what happened. Apparently, Marvin Gerard, the accountant that Reddington brought out of prison, I think it was last season, whenever Liz was on the run. He got him out of prison. We see that apparently he didn't show up to the dinner the night before, and so Reddington assumed that he was the one responsible, and on top of that, he drank some of his wine, and they're thinking that's maybe where the poison came from. So Reddington finally, manages to find the antidote because they've got the apothecary, and so they kind of figure out the antidote based on what the apothecary tells him. And so Reddington's okay. He takes his men to track down Marvin Gerard. They track him down. They start questioning him. Just as Liz calls in with some new information, the wine was not the one poisoned. And at that point, I'd kind of already figured that Dembe was responsible. I don't know why, but just somehow it just made sense to me that, oh, where's Dembe? Where's Dembe? I gotta find Dembe. That was the whole point of this episode, was Reddington trying to find Dembe. And so for me, because they were so focused on that, my mind, because I'm so used to plot twists like this, I was thinking the exact opposite. I'm thinking, okay, so since they're so focused on Dembe, he's got to be the one responsible. It's the only thing that makes sense. And sure enough, that's exactly where it goes. That's where it looks like it's going. It could be where maybe something else is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Maybe he's being threatened or something to try to kill Reddington, or I don't know. Maybe the scotch he gave him he didn't know was poison. But it sure is making it look like Dembe's the one responsible. So I'm curious to see why. I'm wondering if maybe Mr. Kaplan had something to do with it because we know she's still out there. Uh, but I mean, it is an interesting story, that they've got building here. That now Dembe's the one responsible. Now he's on the run from Reddington. On top of that, this is the second associate of Reddington's that's turned against him. And that's something that we've seen. He's starting to struggle with the fact that his decisions turn Mr. Kaplan against him. His decisions turn Liz against him. Now his decisions have turned Dembe against him, his most trusted associate. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen next. Where could this story go that it hasn't already? It's definitely very interesting to watch, and it's getting that sort of feel back where, in the first season, there was kind of this mystery about what was going on in the background, but there's also some excitement to see what's going to happen next. What's Reddington's next move going to be? Over the past couple seasons, it feels like it's kind of dropped off in that respect. It feels like it's a bit less about, oh, what's Reddington going to do next, more about, okay, so what next Blacklist are we going to trap? What's the next creepy pervert that's going to go in, that the task force is going to track down? It's become less about Reddington and his decisions and what they mean to the task force and what he's doing, and more about the task force itself and Liz. So yeah, I like the fact that we're kind of returning to that aspect of the first season where Reddington is the main focus and Liz is just on the outside trying to help, but also at the same time trying to make sure that he doesn't go overboard. It seems like that's kind of where we're getting back to, and it's doing a really good job of it. It definitely adds a bit more excitement and spice to the show whenever you know that something is going to happen, something bad's going on, and Reddington's doing everything he can to try to stop it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this episode. Tom wasn't in it because Blacklist Redemption also came on last Thursday, so I'm about to watch that one next, see how it is. Hopefully it's good, but we'll see. So let me know what you guys think about this episode. What are your thoughts? What did you like and dislike? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Blacklist reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.